Hey guys, welcome back. This is ChosenArchitect, and today we're going to be diving in to big reactors or extreme reactors, depending on how old school you are. Anyways, I hope you guys are ready. So today we have a few things to sort of work on. I have been processing a little bit more of the sand, and of course more of the ingredients for the refined storage stuff. But today we're going to need to move a little bit away from this. This is just really nice to have all of our stuff stored in. We will get some automation going for this very soon, but I would like to get a solid power source set up, and that's why I made a mini smeltery. Now we're going to see a few more of these mini smelteries. These guys are the smallest smeltery you can actually make, and you actually get an 8 ingot space. So yeah, this thing doesn't really hold that much, but it'll hold 8 ingots worth, which is honestly going to be a very nice small amount, so that way we're not using tons and tons of lava, which is what that's going to be used for, kind of spoiler. So let's take a look at, well, of course, big reactors or extreme reactors. They both work. This is the big reactors legacy. So if we take a look at some of the materials we're going to need, which is yellorium, we need to kind of think about how we're going to get a yellorium. For that, I immediately, when I was looking at the recipe, was like, oh, it's probably a recipe that involves the smeltery, and in which it is, and it's going to require energized glowstone and lava. And this is going to be another one of those small smelteries that we end up setting up. So as you can see here, bam, we're good to go. This will end up producing yellorium for us. Now the problem is going to get these to be equal in size, or in the amount that is stored inside this thing. So that's going to be a little bit difficult to do, but I think we can handle it eventually. But I was also kind of taking a look at how do we get energized glowstone? Well, we're going to need a Magma Crucible. Yeah, we're going to need a Magma Crucible, and the Magma Crucible is kind of where it gets us off track a little bit. This is going to require nether brick, and also hardened glass, which hardened glass, if you don't know, is usually lead, or pulverized lead and pulverized obsidian. So we're going to have to look at how to get lead as well. That is something I haven't even looked at, but I'm sure it's some sort of recipe in here. Potentially it's a dust recipe. We'll have to see. It might be a byproduct recipe that we have to get again, and then we'll see how that goes. But I'll worry about that after we get what I'm actually looking for. And actually, oh, apparently we can use fused quartz, which, if I remember correctly, fused quartz has its own recipe. Usually it's 4 quartz, but we don't have quartz yet, so I can't even worry about that. But anyways, we need a Magma Crucible, so let's just focus on that before we get off track. Magma Crucible, there we go. So, like I said, nether brick. Nether brick, of course, you get from smelting netherrack, and to get netherrack, we can either use magma blocks, which we don't have access to, or lava and stone to get netherrack. And this is how we're going to do this. So we're pretty much going to have the exact same setup that we had before, which is we're going to have a stone barrel, or a stone container, which I think I have it in here. The infinite stone, maybe not. Yes, right here. So the item barrel with translocators. And then we're also going to need to have fluid translocators. Well, actually, we'll try fluid translocators, but I'm pretty sure that I remember some people were saying don't use the the clock, because it is slow, and then these are faster. Well, honestly, the clock is probably going to be the best option with a faucet. And I say that because it'll be slow enough to keep up with the wood, or the stone down here. All right, and then we're also going to need to get another thing. An ender tank. Yes, ender tank. This is going to be something that we're going to use to transfer our fluids over long distances, and we'll be able to actually keep up with those. So I'm going to grab some of those, of course. Also, I think we need some pistons just to have in here. Also, I went ahead and got some more upgrades and ended up making myself a 64K once I had enough storage. We had tons of items, so that wasn't a big deal. Awesome. So let's go ahead and make this thing. Right? What are we missing in the middle? Cauldron. Bam. Bam. That'll get us 4 of these guys, which will be perfect. So, getting started, let's go ahead and actually get a fluid, if I can get it in here, the fluid translocator, and we'll use that over here on our automated lava source, right? We need to figure out exactly how to pull out of here, and I think one of the best ways is this way. Unfortunately, the face you can't pull out of, but I think we can definitely power everything from that side. So I can give this power to this side. So let's go ahead and do that. Put the survivalist generator here. And why not just hook that up there? Give it the atom barrel. There we go, that's got power. Awesome. And then technically we can just hook this thing right up to this. Have this set to output. And that will now be filled with lava. And should stay running. We should have enough item built up over here that our automatic lava generation should stay running and keep running. Alright, so let's go over here and set up the automated netherrack. Right, and we're going to set this here. Our lovely stone barrel. Be careful because we could actually fall into this hole. Item translocator. Voila. Come on, gotta have an empty hand. There we go. That'll set that to stone. And then we're going to do that thing where our chest is actually up above. Or we can do a drawer. Doesn't really matter. I'll use a chest for right now. Perfect. And yes, we'll have to break this bottom section in order to pull out. And we'll just fall down here. There we go. Make sure this is set out now. We do have to set a filter once this actually does start producing. So let's do a few things here. One being we need the input source to be this, and we also need an input source into here. So what I might do is wrench this to turn it sideways. It's still set the right way. So what we can do is place these two here. Make sure these are both insert. They'll both fill with lava. They'll both stay working. And all we got to do is kind of fill this up now. Remember, I wanted to use this with a clock. And there we go. And that should fill up. So we shouldn't have to worry about that. Now, I could technically put a acceleration wand in here, and that would make that happen instantly. But I am going to wait for that. I mean, acceleration wand would definitely make this faster. So, how long is this going to take? This definitely needs an acceleration wand on it to make that anywhere near what I want it to be. So just for the sake of it, I'm going to put that in the filter. And now we have netherrack. Nice. So this is how small you can set up the automatic netherrack system. And as you can see right here, it's holding what, 1 bucket? Is that really 1 bucket? Just a little bit more than 1 bucket worth. And yeah, it takes a little bit of time, but it does end up showing up. Now we can get an acceleration wand. Actually, let's use the one that's already in fastest. We'll grab a user. We only need 1. And we can place that bad boy under here. Should work. Right? Perfect. Mechanical user. And unfortunately it landed in just the right way. That's going to be hard for me to turn it. There we go. Open this up. Place that bad boy in there. Upper left hand slot. Perfect. And that will definitely help speed that up. So, as this block is transforming, which should happen here shortly, we should get what we need. Now, I don't know if lava can go in here directly. So let's actually try the fluid translocator, and let's see how if this will work. It may be too fast, which I don't know. So we'll have to see. If not, then this will work just fine. Okay, looks like it's working just fine. So for some things that works, I have noticed that it does cause issues with like ores and stuff like that. But as long as our lava can keep up, we're good to go. Which this may not be exactly able to keep up. We'll see. We'll see. It is limited by the smeltery there. But it does seem to be doing a pretty good job. But as you can see, we're getting Netherrack, which means we can now smelt this exactly enough for what we need. So let's go ahead and throw that in there. And now we can start focusing on getting ourselves the hardened glass. Now, that was something that I didn't actually look at ahead of time, so it's going to take a bit of time for me to look at this. But the Magma Crucible, we're going to need some sort of block glass hardened. And I think you can do this. No, you can't search for like specifics. So hardened glass, as you can see here, we have hardened tin glass, hardened silver. Usually it's just straight up hardened glass, which I don't see it showing up in here. Hardened steel glass, electric, just hardened glass. There it is. So, just your regular hardened glass. So that's going to require, as you can see, pulverized lead and pulverized obsidian, but we need to get lead first. And we need to figure out exactly how to get lead. So I see casting. Is there an alloying? Molten obsidian and iron. Okay, so that's pretty simple. Molten obsidian to iron, and it should be a 1-to-1, I hope. We'll find out real quick. Now, I did go ahead and clear out all the automation for both of these sides. We don't need the ender pearls going anymore. At least I don't think so. So I'm going to go ahead and get most of this done. And that's actually not too bad to get what we need to get. There we go. We'll throw that in there. Also, I can go ahead and throw that. And the acceleration wand works wonders on this, by the way. And make sure this is actually off. I don't think we can pump liquids of ingots anyways. Or not liquids of ingots. Obsidian ingots. So yeah, as you see, a bunch of molten lead now. Okay, so it does look like it's a 2-to-1. So 2 iron to 1 obsidian. Which now makes total sense. So I'll throw the rest of the iron in there. And that should make more. And just like that, we're getting the alloy going. Looks like the alloy actually takes a little bit of time in itself. Perfect. And voila. What was that? 256. Perfect. So you can turn this on, and this will run its course, and we're getting some lead. Perfect. So I'm going to take some obsidian, because we're going to have to get this process as well. Pull this all out. There we go. We can change this around. And I need to get a little bit of obsidian going, and then I'm also going to pulverize some lead, and then we can get into working with our induction smelter. So, I mean, there is another way that I'm sure a lot of you guys are going to be letting me know to make the hardened glass. You don't actually have to make it this way. There is another method. You can make this this version of the hardened glass, which does have an alloying, which is molten obsidian and glass. This is probably 1-to-1 as well, and this is what you'll end up with. But I'm not, at this point, I don't have to make it that way, so I think that would be the harder way to make it, is via a smeltery. So I'm going to stick with making it with industrial or thermal expansion, which is, in my opinion, the way it's intended to be made. So, yeah, and we have all the stuff to do it. So let's go ahead and get that made. Bam, pop that in there. It's going to use 4 pulverized obsidian to 1 pulverized lead. And that'll do it for us. It should be pretty easy. And we should be able to get that. Now, I'm going to go ahead and go up here. We did have... There we go, our nether brick being cooked up. And our nether brick will be turned into nether brick. You gotta love that. And then we should be able to get into the Magma Crucible. Now, eventually we're going to make more than one of these Magma Crucibles, but just for right now, this is what we're stuck with, so we're just going to make one, just to kind of get this one process going. And we should be good. So we already have machine frames, so literally we're just waiting for the hardened glass. Nice. So, Magma Crucible. Now this guy is going to require a little bit more power. This thing is power hungry. So that is going to be something we're going to have to get. So, another survivalist generator with, a little bit of help, of course, should work. I say should. Looks like we don't even have any cobblestone on us. How crazy is that? No cobblestone. There we go. We'll get some of that in there. Yes, we should be able to easily make this and get this to at least have enough power to provide with what we need. I hope. Just one. And then we need some more... Let's see... acceleration wands. I'm going to do just 2. I think that will be plenty fast enough for this. And 2 users. Perfect. Awesome. So, let's go ahead and take these. We'll put these in their fastest mode. And that's what we'll use for power with a flat transfer node. And we also need barrel. A wooden barrel. Okay, so we have that done, right? We have a way of getting the Magma Crucible. This is going to be one step, right? Because we needed... In the Magma Crucible, you're already kind of seeing spoilers to some other things here. But the main thing is we're going after Yellorium. So, big reactors and Yellorium, which is the fuel, and it's also what will allow us to actually craft a lot of these blocks, is we're going to have to do it this way. So we have also the Induction Smelter, which doesn't really tell us exactly how to do this. The only way is to make fluid Yellorium, which is going to require energized glowstone and lava. 1 to 1. In order to do this, we will set up some automation, right? This is saying 1 to 1, so 1 bucket will get us this, and then this will cast out 1 ingot, which equals a small amount of the bucket. So 1 bucket's a little more than 9, or a little less than 9. No, a bucket's a little bit more than 9 ingots. You can see right here, 1 block equals a little bit more than a whole bucket. So, yeah, that's what we're going to be working with here. Let's see, are we able to... I'm trying to think of an easy way to automate this into the smeltery. Because we can send, of course, we can send lava into the smeltery. The only way we could... I'm trying to think to manage... Because we'll eventually run into an issue where the whole tank is full. And then once that tank is full, it won't alloy anymore. So maybe you guys have some suggestions on how exactly to prevent this from filling up to max capacity and not allowing anything else in. That would be wonderful to know, because eventually, you know, just all the lava will just build up in here. Right now we have almost a whole stack of Netherrack. That's good enough for right now. I'm going to build another smeltery. So, let's go ahead and grab a few things that we're going to need for that. I should have some seared bricks, so we're going to need 2 tanks, 2 input tanks. At least I think so. Of course, a controller. We're going to need a piece of glass for the main tank. And that should be it for this one, right? Well, we're also going to need another output. So we'll have another... Actually, we could probably use... We could probably use 2 sides of this on just one as an input for both. So that'll be fine. And then we'll need a casting table. Perfect. So that should be about everything we need. And there we go. Okay, so let's go ahead and build another mini smeltery over here. That shouldn't take too much to do. Do exactly like I did on the other side. We need a brick. There we go. And what I'll do is we'll have this go in here. Like I said, when I said there's 2 sides, technically there's 3 sides that we can input into. And then this side will be our output, main controller. There we go. And then the actual table that will get casted to. There we go. So the main inputs here are going to be lava on this side. And then on this side is going to be our Magma Crucible, which can go here. We can set up our mechanical users for our power, not for this, actually. Let's get our power down. Not that, our power. There we go. Then we get our power ready. So those are going down. General click, plate use on block, upper left-hand slot. Upper left-hand slot, and then we'll get that on there. And barrel. Awesome. That's providing some power. This thing is fueling up. Awesome. So what we can do is say no bueno on all the sides, except for the back, which will be an extract. And then on top, we can set an insert for our items. And we put a chest up here. Awesome. Now on the back, we're going to need another one of these tanks. Filled with lava, of course. Fluid translocators. If I can get some. There we go. 3 of those, or 2 of those actually. No, we need 3. That's right. We can actually rotate this so that we're not interfering. And then just because this has to have lava in there, but the problem is this fills with lava immediately. I need that not to happen. Because as you can see, like let's go ahead and get some glowstone in here. Let's get some glowstone. Also, I need a chest real quick. Or a drawer will work. Drawer should work fine. Awesome. We should put some of that in there. That should pull automatically. And that should start working. Now, like I said, this will not alloy automatically. I need to figure out a way to prevent this from filling up to max with what's in here. And I just don't know what would do it. So I did make this thing a little bit bigger to kind of give it a little bit of extra room. Now I'm hoping with this fluid combination as it's set right now, it is producing that fluid yellorium, and it is in a small kind of container. I'm hoping that when this starts to drop, these fluids will evenly distribute. That way we don't end up with a giant mess on our hands. And yeah, these fluids just not working good together. So I have to set up a kind of a slow extraction process. And to do that, I'm going to do an ingot cast, but I'm going to use a clock, and then I'm going to use a very slow method of extracting, which in that being this. And that should extract into this chest at a pretty slow pace. This should all be pretty slow. I mean, this process is actually pretty fast with the curing time. It's actually pretty fast, but as you can see, that's producing yellorium for us, and yellorium is what's going to allow us to at least make a small but very useful big reactor. We don't have to go very big at first with the big reactor. We can get away with literally 1 reactor core. So 1 core here, which is going to require reactor casings, which is going to require some graphite bar. By the way, graphite's going to require some charcoal, so I better go grab some charcoal while I'm over here, just so we have some charcoal laying around. I know I have charcoal in one of these guys, right? Oh yeah, so much charcoal. And that's going to provide us with some graphite. Of course, I can make this stuff real fast in here, or cook up real fast. There we go. By acceleration wanding, all of this good stuff, and that'll produce some graphite bars in no time. Oh, by the way, yeah, make sure this thing was on the fastest mode. But yeah, I'm going to get some graphite, because that's really all we need. So if you take a look here, the Reactor Controller is another thing we're going to need. The Reactor Controller is going to require either a diamond or the sun crystal. And let's actually make the sun crystal. That's actually not too hard to do, and we have the access to do that. So let's get that controller done real quick. Where is it at? Reactor Controller. To that sun crystal. Awesome. We should be able to throw that on the ground, I do believe. Because if we pick it up, as you can see, the sun crystal actually pulls in the sunlight. And it starts to go kind of reactive after it's gained enough sunlight. And that's how you actually fill up that crystal. So as you can see, that thing is completely full. I actually like that recipe. And that'll allow us to go ahead and make... Where's it at? I'm not used to the colors, so just bear with me. But as you can see, the controller's going to require some Yellorium and reactor casings. Of course, we're working on that. And the reactor casings are literally just graphite. Mostly just graphite's the only issue right now that we're waiting on. So I'm just going to go ahead and sit here and get these guys cooked down. I'll be back. All right, so graphite bars are all done. So that should give us a little bit to work with. We need some iron now. So I'll grab some iron. And of course some redstone. And I'll grab some glowstone, copper, more tin, just to throw it in here, because I know we're going to run into it eventually, and we're going to need it. So might as well get it all thrown in here. Perfect. And the Yellorium ingots, might as well. So let's go ahead and get that controller. Right, that's what we're working on. So we need the reactor casings, and we need the reactor cores. So I'm going to make a few of these, right? Let's make 16 for right now. Let's see how many we actually need. Because these will actually give us 4 a piece. So that's 64. Remember, we are making a small reactor. So let's keep that in mind. So we need a reactor core. We need a power tap. So let's find the power tap. So reactor Tesla power tap. Pretty sure that's right. Right? The Tesla power tap. That, oh, ew. Yikes. Maybe we can't actually make a big reactor yet, but we do have the stuff for it. Do the stuff for it. Turbine, redstone, flux. I actually didn't check. This should be what we need. We need the flux. Yeah. Tesla. Not the Tesla, the flux. Where's it at? There it is. So we need turbine housings. Okay, that's a little bit different. So we're going to need... Ooh, quartz. I don't think we're going to be able to make this, guys. I've worked all this way up just to get to the fact that we need quartz. And I don't think we can get quartz until Britannia, because the Britannia recipe says we need quartz ore. To get quartz ore, we need an alchemy catalyst with Netherrack to get that, and a little bit of mana. Yikes. That one kind of bit us in the shoe there. So I don't see any other way of getting power out of here. The reactor control rod. I mean, everything, I guess I missed that. Everything else we have, I just totally missed the fact that we need a way to get power out of here. And for that, we need turbine housings. Oh wait, this is a turbine. No. Whew, did I completely mess up here? Reactor redstone port. Reactor. Reactor flux power. Oh, I was about to say, I almost was just like, oh, well, we just made a big rabbit hole mistake. Anyways, I think we can get this. So we need an access port, 2 of those. Because technically they're the same. They're the same as the output. And that should be about it. We need a way of putting items in. We need a reactor controller. We're going to also need ourselves the rods. So we need turbine glass. The turbine's all in here. I don't need to be looking at that. Reactor fuel rod. That's what we need. So we're going to need how many of these? For a smaller one, I'm going to do 3. Well, yeah, 3. And then we need 1 of the controllers. Right? One of the fuel rod. Where's it at? It's so weird looking at this with the texture rechanges, because I honestly always go off the textures. Tesla power, turbine controller, fuel, turbine rotor. Totally missing my controller block. Reactor control rod. There it is. Man, that was a loop for me. Okay, so as soon as this freeze ends, which happens every now and then, a lot of it's probably to do with the way this is set up. But we can go ahead and actually set this guy up. And I can probably put it right here since it's really close to this. It should allow us to get there. By the way, I did end up turning off this, so I'll turn it back on. Put some lava back in here, over time. We should have some more built up in there. Perfect. Awesome. So let's get this bad boy set up. All right. So we're going to need reactor casings. I think what I'm going to do is put this thing on the ground here. I'm going to put it in this corner. And it is going to be on the ground in the center. And then here is going to be our casings. Now this thing is not going to be efficient at all. So keep efficiency out of your head. Because this thing is definitely not that. This is literally just a small reactor with only a few things in mind. And that is just, well, one thing in mind. Being small. It's kind of small. Alright, let's go down here. I hope I have enough. Well, I definitely will have enough because one of these sides will be the controller. Okay. So, here will be our actual control center. And then here we'll have an input and output, or input and output. So this, we can set this to eject waste and output mode. This will be our input mode. And we should be ready to go. All we need, oh, we actually need a power as well. So we need our power tap to be in here. And honestly, I'm just going to put it right here for right now. That's where our power tap's going to go. So here we go, right there. Power tap up there, and we get this awesome retextured, you gotta love this, retextured reactor. Wow. It is something else. So, Reactor Glass. Let's go ahead and make that. I actually want to put that right here. That way we can kind of see inside, and we can see the Yellorium going inside here. So let's go ahead and take the Yellorium. We'll just throw that in here for right now. And power this on. And we'll be able to see the amount of energy generated, and we'll be able to see how much RF we're actually pushing out here. Should be close to 1,000 RF. Pretty close. 800. So about 870 or 860 RF per tick is about what we're pushing with this thing. It's not wasting that much fuel. It is doing actually pretty good with the heating and everything. So this is actually a pretty decent generator, especially for the amount of resources that went into making it. So it's actually not too much. And honestly, we don't have that many machines yet. So, yeah, utilizing this power is not hard. And also, making Yellorium is pretty much infinite at this point. We just have to get a better system of getting lava and making sure this is automated. And soon we can actually get a lava... I was going to say maybe we can get a lava fabricator, but I don't think one exists. We do have the lava factory controller. That actually is that going to be too difficult? No. Empowered Inori. We can actually generate lava with the lava factory controller. That's actually not that bad. No joke, we could generate lava with this, unless the rest of it is disabled. So the casing and Nori, that's all it requires. We can get casings, and I think casings are what go around the lava factory controller, and the lava factory controller gets powered from underneath, and it actually generates lava that way. And we can like use a collector to pull the lava out. I think that's what we might end up doing. No joke. So let's get a little piping going on. I think we have some pipes laying around. There we go. Perfect. And we'll just pipe on out of here. There we go. Now that should pipe this in. I'm not too concerned about the ejection or the output of fuel. We do have tons of power already built up in here. Just will continue to build up over time. This also has a giant buffer in it. So as you can see, we'll be able to manage that buffer. I do like seeing little particles inside. It's actually kind of cool. As you can see, 2.5 million RF already. We're going to use a different kind of network very soon. Flux networks is going to be something we're going to strive to get into. It does require Eyes of Ender, which also requires Blaze. And Blaze Powder is something all in its own that we're going to have to work on getting. Which, in all honesty, it's not that difficult to make Blaze Powder. At least enough to get us a few plugs and to get started with this. But we will have to set up a few different things to get this started. Because Sulfur, well, let's just say, Sulfur is not the easiest thing to come by. That's why I have that Netherrack being produced. Yeah, it's not the easiest thing to obtain. I do see a couple of things that produce it. Can't make coal. Of course, that's not how you get that. Appetite, of course, that's not a thing. It's this recipe. Sulfur, literally, I've looked at all the different recipes for making sulfur, and this is the only way, really. You're not going to be making naphtha, I don't believe. I mean, we could make naphtha, possibly. And then naphtha being still down gives us refined fuel, and that will give us a 50% chance of getting sulfur. But to get naphtha, you need crude oil. Crude oil needs to be, well, at least in this case, you need crude oil. To get crude oil, there's a time machine which can take biomass and turn it into that. You get biomass from, fertilizer and things like that. That's probably not going to be the best way. The best way for us is probably going to be to just continue our process here of making netherrack and just throwing it in the pulverizer. And yeah, that is going to eventually, if we throw that in there, that's going to eventually get us what we need. We can throw that. We have both outputs going into that thing. So really, I mean, we have this all going. Everything should be working. We're getting pretty close. Let's see, what do we got going on here? We need this to be exported out. So whenever this starts pouring back out again, our fuel and stuff should equalize out, and it should continue to produce this. And yeah, we should end up with well enough, too much of a stockpile of this stuff. And yeah, we don't really have to worry about ejecting waste, but we will need that waste probably later on. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, you guys know what to do. Don't forget to click that subscribe button if you haven't already, and also give that video a thumbs up. Yeah, the one you just watched. And guys, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, I will see you guys in the next episode. And as always, thanks for watching.